Hello, everyone. I want to take a few minutes to address some of the concerns about a recent minor update to our terms of use. I've seen, heard, or have even been tagged in a lot of them. So I'm making this video because many of you have asked me, hey, Terry, would you make a video? Would you go on a live stream? Would you go on a podcast? Would you kind of help us understand what these terms of use are? And I said, no, because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not capable of legally speaking on Adobe's behalf. That's not my forte. It's not my profession. However, Adobe did hear you and have taken great strides to not only simplify the terms of use, to break things apart that were all grouped together, to provide human readable text examples under each one so that, not that lawyers aren't human, but so that we can all understand these easier and together. So I do feel comfortable about going through those things because they made it easy for everyone to understand. So with that said, let's get started and cover the top 3 things I've seen people have concerns about. So first, this isn't one of the things, but so we're all on the same page. What are terms of use? Terms of use, also known as terms and conditions and terms of service, for software companies outline the rules and regulations for using that software. These are designed to protect the company. Yes, they're also designed to protect you and your rights and your content. So these updated terms of use with human readable examples are available today. This is updated based on your feedback today. And I'm going to cover the top 3 things that people were concerned about and have either been updated, made clearer, or have changed in whatever way they needed to be better for you. So with that, let's start off with number 1. What hasn't changed? What was always the case and hasn't changed? Number 1, and this is one of the biggest concerns, you own your content. You always have, you always will. This has not changed. Adobe does not own your data or claim to own it. Adobe doesn't train its generative AI models on your content. There's only one specific example where we would, and that's your Adobe stock contributor, and that's a whole separate license agreement because you're getting paid for your stock contributor content that's being used to train. That's different. Not your content, not my content that we just upload to Creative Cloud. You have a choice not to participate in our product improvement program. So you can actually opt out of things that your content might have been trained on for, like making select subject better or removing a background better. Those features that could have been used to train based on anyone's content, you have the ability to say, nope, I don't want the product to improve based on my content, opt out. So at the end of the day, these are all designed to operate the apps and services. We have very limited right to access your content. We cannot look at your local devices, the content stored on your hard drive, content stored on your phones and tablets. So we don't have that access. Adobe will not use these rights to train generative AI models with your content. I'm going to keep bringing this up because this keeps coming up. This has always been our policy, and we've added it today to the terms of use to make it extremely clear. Now, this section is the biggest one with the biggest concerns, and people, screenshot, highlighted it, showed it to me and said, hey, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Let's go through it. I know you can't read this, so let's go through them one by one. First of all, licenses to your cloud content. So we made it very clear. We put the cloud distinction in there, not just your content, because people would think locally. Nope, just the stuff you put in the cloud. So the license to the cloud content to operate the services and software on your behalf solely for the purposes of operating the services and software on your behalf, meaning to open up the files, to process the files with your commands. That's what this is all about. Reproduce. So this one got a lot of people stirred up because it sounds like Adobe's just making copies of your files and doing whatever we want. Copies of your files happen every single day and have since day one. For example, if I upload an image to Adobe Express and I put it on multiple pages on different sizes, the software, the service has to make those copies. That's technically reproducing. That's what that means. So if I use my Creative Cloud libraries and I put the same image in multiple libraries, that's reproducing. That's number 1. Number 2, to distribute. Oh my God, it sounds like Adobe's just going to give away my stuff and give it to everyone. For the example, if you publish your work using like the Photoshop Share for Review or in Lightroom, I usually share albums with a link. That's distributing my work, and I'm giving Adobe permission to do that because I want to use that feature. Creating derivative works, for example, to compress an image. If I take a raw file and make a JPEG, that is a derivative work. If I take my photo, like in this example, and remove the background, that's a derivative work. If it has to make a thumbnail to show me in my recents, that's a derivative work. You're giving the software permission to do that, to operate on your behalf. Publicly display. Oh my God, Adobe's just going to wallpaper my stuff everywhere. Publicly display means, for example, an image or document you publish using our services for others to see. The one that comes to mind for me is my Adobe portfolio. My portfolio has my photography in it. It's hosted by Adobe. And therefore, if I share it, I'm giving Adobe permission to publicly display my work at my URL. Same thing for publicly perform. The difference between the two is perform means video. So if I make a Memorial Day video and I post it to Instagram or Facebook, that's publicly performing it. So we have to have permission to do that. Sublicense. This one sounds scary as well. This is when we're letting a third party store or use the files to host them, for example, on servers that are faster than ours, because we don't have internal server farms that host everything. So we may license this to a third party or sublicense it so that they can simply provide that faster access to the content. That's it. That's all they can do. So what Adobe does not do, we will not and cannot grant a sublicense to a third party that is greater than the rights you give us. So we can't turn around and say, oh, you signed this agreement, we're going to go make a different agreement with this other company that gives them more rights. We can't do that. And also, we do not have the right to and will not use your content to market or promote Adobe. This was another one that kept coming up. We're not going to just take your work and start making ads with it. That's not what we do. And also, we will not use your rights to train our generative AI models on your content and will not sublicense others to do so. So those were the biggest concerns. If you have more concerns, feel free to comment or ask. And you can check out these updated terms of use as of today at this link. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.